Introduction 2.0.1.1 Switches are used to connect multiple devices together on the same network. In a properly designed network, LAN switches are responsible for directing and controlling the data flow at the access layer to the network's resources. Cisco switches are self-configuring and no additional configurations are necessary for them to function out of the box. However, Cisco switches run Cisco IOS and can be manually configured to better meet the needs of the network. This includes adjusting port speed, bandwidth, and security requirements. Additionally, Cisco switches can be managed both locally and remotely. To remotely manage a switch, it needs to have an IP address and a default gateway configured. These are just two of the configurations discussed in this chapter. Access layer switches operate at the access layer, where client and network devices connect directly to the network and IT departments want uncomplicated network access for the users. It is one of the most vulnerable areas of the network because it is so exposed to the user. Switches need to be configured to be resilient to attacks of all types while they are protecting user data and allowing high-speed connections. Port security is one of the security features that Cisco managed switches provide. This chapter examines some of the basic switch configuration settings required to maintain a secure, available switch LAN environment. Class Activity 2.0.1.2 Stand by me. When you arrived to class today, you were given a number by your instructor to use for this introductory class activity. When class begins, your instructor will ask certain students with specific numbers to stand. Your job is to record the standing students' numbers for each scenario. Scenario 1. Students with numbers starting with the number 5 should stand. Record the numbers of the standing students. Scenario 2. Students with numbers ending in B should stand. Record the numbers of the standing students. Scenario 3. The students with the number 505C should stand. Record the number of the standing students. At the end of this activity, divide into small groups and record answers to the reflection questions on the PDF for this activity. Save your work and be prepared to share it with another student or the entire class. Basic switch configuration 2.1 Basic switch administration should be mastered by a switch administrator. This includes familiarity with the hardware as well as basic port configuration. Configure a switch with initial settings 2.1.1 In this section you learn the Cisco switch boot sequence, how to recover from a system crash, and how to configure the switch to support remote management. Switch boot sequence 2.1.1.1 After the Cisco switch is powered on, it goes through the following boot sequence. 1. The switch loads on a power on subtest, POST, program stored in read-only memory. POST checks the CPU subsystem. It tests the CPU, DRAM, and the portion of the flash device that makes up the flash system. Point 2. The switch loads the bootloader software. The bootloader is a small program stored in read-only memory and it's run immediately after the post successfully completes. Point 3. The bootloader performs low-level CPU initialization. It initializes the CPU registers, which control where physical memory is mapped, the quantity of memory and its speed. Point 4. The bootloader initializes the flash file system on the system board. Point 5. The bootloader locates and loads the default iOS operating system software image into memory and enhances control over the switch over to the iOS. The bootloader finds the Cisco iOS image and attempts to automatically boot by using information in the boot environment variable. If this variable is not set, the switch attempts to load and execute the first executable file it can by performing a recursive depth-first search throughout the flash file system. In the depth-first search of the file system, the search begins at the first top-level directory. The search proceeds through the directory from the lowest level subdirectory up to the tree. If the search is unsuccessful, the next top-level directory is located, and the bottom-up search pattern is repeated. On Catalyst 2960 series switches, the image file is normally contained in a directory that has the same name as the image file, excluding the .bin file extension. The iOS operating system then initializes the interfaces using the Cisco iOS commands found in the configuration file, startup config, which is stored in NVRAM. In figure 2-1, the boot environment variable is set using the boot system global configuration mode command. Notice that iOS is located in a distinct folder and the folder path is specified. Use the show boot var command, show boot in older iOS versions to see to what the current iOS boot file is set. Figure 2-1, configure boot environment variable. Recovering from a system crash. 2.1.1.2. The bootloader provides access into the switch if the operating system cannot be used because of missing or damaged system files. The bootloader has a command line that provides access to the files stored in flash memory. The bootloader can be accessed through a console connection following these steps. Step 1. Connect the PC by a console cable to the switch console port. Configure terminal emulation software to connect to the switch. Step 2. Unplug the switch power cord because many Cisco switches do not have on-off switch. Step 3. Reconnect the power cord to the switch and within 15 seconds press and hold down the mode button while the system LED is still flashing green. Step 4. Continue pressing the mode button until the system LED turns briefly amber and then solid green, then release the mode button. Step 5. The bootloader switch. Prompts appears in the terminal emulation software on the PC. The bootloader command line support commands to format the flash file system, reinstall the operating system software, and recover from a lost or forgotten password. For example, the dir command can be used to view a list of files within a specified directory as shown in figure 2-2. Note, in this example, the iOS is located in the root of the flash folder. Switch LEDs indicators. 2.1.1.3. Cisco Catalyst switches have several status LED indicator lights. You can use the switch LEDs to quickly monitor switch activity and its performance. Switches of different models and features sets will have different LEDs, and their placement on the front panel of the switch can also vary. Figure 2-3 shows the switch LEDs and the mode button for a Cisco Catalyst 2960 switch. The mode button is used to toggle through the port status, port duplex, port speed, and PoE if supported status of the port LEDs. The following describes the purpose of the LED indicators and the meaning of their colors. System LED shows whether the system is receiving power and is functioning properly. If the LED is off, it means that the system is not powered on. If the LED is green, the system is operationally normally. If the LED is amber, the system is receiving power but is not functioning properly. Redundant power system RPS LED shows RPS status if the LED is off. The RPS is off or not properly connected. If the LED is green, the RPS is connected and ready to provide backup power. If the LED is blinking green, the RPS is connected but is unavailable because it is providing power to another device. If the LED is amber, the RPS is in standby mode or in fault condition. If the LED is blinking amber, the internal power supply and the switch has failed, and the RPS is providing power. Port status LED indicates the port status mode is selected when the LED is green. This is the default mode. When selected, the port LEDs will display colors with different meanings. If the LED is off, there is no link, or the port is administratively shut down. If the LED is green, the link is present. If the LED is blinking green, there is activity and the port is sending or receiving data. If the LED is altered green amber, there is a link fault. If the LED is amber, the port is blocked. To ensure that the loop does not exist in the forwarding domain and is not forwarding data. Typically, ports will remain in this state for the first 30 seconds after being activated. If the LED is blinking amber, the port is blocked to prevent the possible loop in the forwarding domain. Point 1. Port duplex LED indicates that the port duplex mode is selected when the LED is green. When selected, port LEDs that are off are in half duplex mode. If the port LED is green, the port is in full duplex mode. Port speed LED indicates that the port speed mode is selected. When selected, the port LEDs will display colors with different meanings. If the LED is off, the port is operating at 10 megabits per second. If the LED is green, the port is operating at 100 megabits per second. If the LED is blinking green, the port is operating at 1000 megabits per second. Point 3. Power over Internet, PoE, mode, LED. If power over Internet is supported, a power over Internet mode LED will be present. If the LED is off, it indicates that the PoE mode is not selected and that none of the ports have been denied power or placed in a default condition. If the LED is blinking amber, the PoE mode is not selected, but at least one of the ports has been denied power or has a PoE fault. If the LED is green, it indicates that the PoE mode is selected and that the port LEDs will display colors with different meanings. If the port LED is off, the PoE is off. If the port LED is green, the PoE is on. If the port LED is alternating green, amber, PoE is denied, because providing power to the powered device will exceed the switch power capacity. If the LED is blinking amber, PoE is off because of a fault. If the LED is amber, PoE for the port has been disabled. Figure 2-3 Switch LEDs. Next up is preparing for basic switch management 2.1.1.4.